Hey everyone, welcome back to the Baker's Almanac. In today's video, we are talking all about pastry school. Is it worth it? I'm going to share my personal experience just so you can get some more information and then decide for yourself if you think it's a journey that's worth pursuing. Before we get into the video, I just want to preface it by saying that everything I share is completely my own experience. You know, the situation that I was in, my financial situation, all the factors that went into me determining if I would go to pastry school is completely unique to me, and you are going to have your own experience. So just please take everything I say with a grain of salt, or don't take it at all. It's up to you. But just keep that in mind as we get started. To give some background, I decided to attend the International Culinary Center in New York City. It's located down in Soho, and I was debating between going there and the Institute of Culinary Education, but I decided to do ICC because the hours worked a bit more with my schedule. At the time, I was working a full-time 9-to-5 job, so I would go to my job and then I would do pastry school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every night for 9 months after that. When it comes to deciding if you're going to go to pastry school, for me, the most important factor to consider was the price. Looking at ICC's website right now, if you do the evening program like I did, the price is going to vary depending on how soon the program is coming up. For instance, if you're going to start in a program that they offer beginning in July, it's going to cost $29,900, but if you're doing one starting in October, it's actually about $34,900. So in the context of ICC at least, it's a bit more beneficial to wait to apply until you're a bit closer to the date to get a better deal. If you're considering going down this route, I highly recommend really investigating and looking into the price of the school that you want to go to. ICC was great because they offered tons of scholarships, whether they're merit-based or they also had a bunch of ones for, military discounts and whatnot, so you can help cut off some of that tuition expense if you really put the effort into doing that. In terms of the price as well, keep in mind that if you do take out loans, really consider what your salaries or what your hourly wages are going to be after you graduate pastry school. The starting rate for working a culinary job in the culinary industry as a pastry cook or a line cook is probably going to be somewhere around minimum wage, if not a little bit higher. And really think to yourself how long it's going to take you to pay off those student loans if you do go to school. All in all, when it comes to the price, what I would recommend is assess your current situation. Decide with scholarships and everything else, is it something that you can make work financially? And if yes, if it's what you really want to do, if you're passionate about it, I would say go for it. But if you're not yet financially in a place where you can do it, or if you don't have any family support or whatnot, maybe take a year or two, properly save up some money and make it a reality for yourself. Then I would say it's really important to understand your particular situation. Like I said, I was coming from a 9-to-5 job and I was looking to make a pretty drastic career change. Though I loved baking in my free time, I had no professional experience with it whatsoever. So I knew that if I went and interviewed or trailed at different restaurants or bakeries, they wouldn't really take me seriously, especially in New York City where the bar is a bit higher. That's why I knew that I needed to go and get a pastry school degree just to really learn all the basics. I wanted to make sure that I knew how to do everything that they would ask of me in a job and that I had confidence going in. And so to me, that was the number one reason why pastry school was worth it, was to get that hands-on experience in a kitchen with really, really talented instructors so that I knew what I was doing and felt prepared going in and applying for jobs afterward. However, your situation might be different. Let's say you're just graduating high school, you are still being supported by your parents and you have a lot more liberty and you're not switching careers. I would say that a lot of people really find a lot of success breaking into the culinary industry and working their way up. So just kind of send some feelers out, find yourself that first position, and someone will take you under their wing and you'll get better and better. And I really think there's lots of different ways you can do this. Here in New York City, a lot of bakeries and restaurants will offer unpaid internships for a couple months, just so that you can get a feel for how it is, and then maybe be offered a position afterwards. Because I was supporting myself and also working that other job, I really could not do this unpaid internship route, which was a big factor in me deciding to do the pastry school route. But just really think to yourself, what are the different options you have? Because there are other ones besides pastry school. So really weigh all of those in your mind and make a decision that works for you. Next, I would say just really look at the credibility of the institution that you're going to. For me, I knew that the International Culinary Center was highly regarded as one of the best, culinary schools in the United States. It has some amazing and talented chefs working there and deans, and I knew that having that degree on my resume would really open up a lot of doors for me and help me get a job. So depending on wherever you live in the world and what your aspirations are when it comes to your career, really look at the credibility of the institutions that you're going to or considering going to, and determine how important it is to have that name on your resume when it comes to applying for jobs, because it might not be important. If you're looking to go and work in a small bakery in your hometown, you might really not need that degree on your resume. However, if you're looking to work in a pretty high-end restaurant in New York City, kind of like what I'm doing, it might be a bit more essential. And finally, last but not least, I just want to touch on the nature of working in the culinary industry. Because going into it, I think I was a bit naive about what it would be like. Because working a job in pastry in a restaurant or culinary, savory side, I think it's always going to be a bit more than most people expect. Because with your traditional 9-to-5 job, you work pretty steadily those 40 hours a week. Sometimes you'll do overtime in certain positions, but it's usually a bit standard, and you have your weekends and you have your time off. But working in a restaurant is different. If you're working a dinner service, you're going to be doing, long hours on nights and weekends. And pastry school or culinary school will teach you the fundamental skills, but working a job in the industry is going to be very different. And before you decide to take the plunge and go to pastry school, really consider and ask yourself, what career do I want? What are my priorities in life? And if you're absolutely 100% sure that this is the path you want to take, I think pastry school can be an essential factor in getting you there. Just make sure that you don't take the plunge and go into it without first weighing all of those different factors, because honestly, they're very important, and you need to think to yourself what matters most to you. I really love working my restaurant job, and there are sacrifices when it comes to it because of the long hours and the nature of the work. But if it's what you're passionate about, I would say go for it. Just know what you're getting yourself into, So that's a wrap on today's video. I apologize that there's not really one straightforward answer like, yes, pastry school is the best, or no, it's horrible, don't ever do it. But as I'm sure a lot of you know, everything in life is not so black and white. There's a fine line of gray thrown throughout there, everywhere and in between. And so that's just my personal experience. I honestly, looking back, am very, very glad that I went to pastry school. I think it's opened so many doors for me, and I would absolutely not be doing the job that I have today if I hadn't gone. And I have so much more fulfillment and enjoyment out of this job, so I'm thankful that I decided to go. But like I said before, really analyze your own situation and determine if it's a good fit for you, depending on the price factor, the credibility, what you're looking for, etc. If you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. And if you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button down below. I post new videos every Wednesday related to the culinary industry and lots of different baking tips, as well as unique recipes. And I would love for you to join this little YouTube family that we have here. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great week, and I'll see you then. Bye!